Well, g'day, and welcome back again to what is a very, very hot day here in Jiaoqing today. It is 35 degrees as we speak, and yeah, I'm out for a walk as always. So we've actually come over, we're sort of out in the west of the city. We've come over, there's a police station here, and we've actually started the video here because we got a message that I wanted to respond to. I would have got this response up yesterday when I received the message, but my CapCut was busy editing another video, putting in subtitles for Chinese social media, so we had to hold off a day. But this is from BMK8018. Really appreciate your content. Thanks for cutting through the BS. Quick question from someone in New Zealand. What's police culture like in China? Over here, and that's in places like the US, cops are often seen as having a power trip, and the whole serve and protect thing can feel pretty hollow. In China, are police generally helpful or more suspicious of the public, and how are they perceived by everyday Chinese? I've heard China called a police state and noticed those little police kiosks in public spaces. Just wondering what the vibe is actually like day to day. So, let's talk about that. So yeah, let's start with the police, you know, whether it's America or, I can't talk much about New Zealand, but Australia definitely. Yeah, they do often get a bad rap. There is often bad feeling in the community for them. But I don't know that the rap they get is always justified entirely. Certainly justified to a degree. What I mean by that is, to compare it to a restaurant, if you're looking to go to a restaurant and you look up reviews online, you know, they say 10 good reviews can be undone by a single bad review. And I think that's similar with the police. When we see the police in our media, normally it's because they've done something wrong. You know, you see, well, America, police shootings. There are hundreds of them every year. I think it's pretty much a daily occurrence. And a lot of them, I mean, I don't follow up on a lot of the cases to find out what actually happened, but a lot of them from the outside, from the sort of initial reporting of it, seem to me to be totally unjustified shootings. As I say, I don't really follow up on court cases and stuff, so I don't know. And because that's what you hear, you get this idea of that's what police are like. It's the same in Australia. We had a huge problem with police corruption back in the, when was that, 1990s? And, you know, all police got tainted with the same brush. But at the same time, I have worked with police a lot in my time back in Australia. I used to do a lot of work with the PCYC, Police and Citizens Youth Club, which was always run by a serving police officer. Never had an issue with him or them. I worked under a couple. They were always really, really good quality people. Also coaching soccer, one of the guys I coached soccer with, he was really, really involved in the Junior Soccer Association back in Albany. Also serving police officer. Really, really top guy. The power trip thing and all that sort of stuff. Yes, there are going to be some in the West who operate that way. I've met some of them as well, who like the idea of having that power. And I have always, the only other times really I've been involved with police, I've done things like doing performances for police Christmas parties and stuff like that, where they're bringing their families in. They're always really good. But out in the street, the only time I've ever had dealings with police are the times I've done something wrong, which generally is when you're on the road driving. And I might be pissed off at the time at having got caught, but if I'm honest, I did do something wrong. I was speeding or, did something wrong in the car and wasn't following the rules. So, and they can be pretty harsh about that, and you've also got to look at it from their point of view. They might be really harsh on something that you think is very trivial, but at the same time, they are the ones who have to go and clean up the mess on the roads when something happens, when something does go wrong and there's some form of a tragedy. We're just going to check the road behind us here. We're going to try and get over the other side of the road. So, yeah, they are probably harsher than we deem as necessary a lot of the time. But given what they have to deal with day to day, it's less than surprising if you stop and think about it a little bit. Now, having got that out of the way, let's talk about the police in China. The overbearing and power hungry and all that sort of stuff that is often the perception of police in the West. I've never had a bad interaction with police here in China. But at the same time, I've never broken the law here in China. Yeah, every interaction has been really good. Now, I'm going to talk my perspective here. We might actually do a follow-up. We're doing an English Corner meeting tomorrow, and I might actually talk to some of the people there about their interactions with the police and their feelings of police and what they think the general community feeling towards police here is. Because they are going to have a more honest view than I can have. I am different here. I'm a foreigner. I get treated differently from I suspect I get treated differently from what everyday Chinese people would get treated. I might be wrong about that, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that police are different. So the interactions I've had, there's three in particular that I'll mention. First one was in Yunfu. Walking with the King Festival last year, which is all the little villages around Yunfu. We won't go into that. If you want to see those videos, search back through the channel and look for Walking with the King Festival. It was the last event of that we went to, was a big parade in the main town of Sing Sing itself. And I'm there outside the Tao Temple waiting for everything to kick off. And a policeman looks at me and starts sort of yelling. It's funny because when they yelled, not police, Chinese, it has a different feeling than when you yell in a friendly way at someone here. Maybe it's different if you're Chinese and you understand the language, but coming from somewhere else and not really understanding much Chinese, it sounds like someone just yelling at you. Rah, 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 rah. So this guy is sort of yelling at me and walking towards me. And I'm thinking, oh shit, what have I done? And he gets up to me and he's sort of pointing at me and making some comment, and I couldn't quite understand what he was trying to say, and he pulls out his phone and he's got a photo of me in one of the previous villages that we'd been over the previous few days on his social media. So he'd obviously seen me taking a photo, was really excited to see a foreigner in a place where you just don't see foreigners. So we ended up chatting to each other through a translator for a little while. Yeah, he was just really excited to see a foreigner. And you know, we took selfies together and stuff like this. He was really cool. But yeah, when he first started, I was a little bit worried. Another interaction I had was, what was the event? I think it was the marathon. No, it wasn't the marathon, it was the triathlon last year, which I was trying to find the changeover point where they changed from paddling to running or riding their bikes. I can't remember, but I didn't know where it was. I went over and asked a policeman. He ended up actually walking us down the road a little way and then pointing us the direction that we needed to go, which was really good of him. He didn't have to do that. He could have just pointed and said, blah, here we go. I had my map open. He could have just pointed at the spot of the map where it was happening and I'd have found it, no problem. But he walked me down. He was really, really nice. No language ability to talk to each other. Like, yeah, he knew zero English. You know, I know a dozen Chinese words. So, but he was all smiles, all happy. The other interaction I've had with police here is a bit different. So Frankel from my school, who I've mentioned before, who we are gonna, during the summer holidays, he's actually started a new job. We're going to hopefully arrange to go up, have a look at his main sort of factory in Tianjin up near Beijing in the summer holiday. So look forward to that. But he contacted me one day and said, oh, I've got a friend who, her son is going to Australia to study and would like to practice his English before he goes. So I said, yeah, no worries. Put him in contact with me and I'll have a chat. And he said, oh, the mother is really, really high up in the police force. And straight away, you know, sort of, you've still got that Western thing of, oh, police interaction's always bad. It always means you're in trouble. And, but we got in contact. I met her. She's actually really, really high up in the police here, involved with internal affairs, internal investigations of police. So, but yeah, she was lovely. Her son is now, I believe, in Adelaide studying music. I must get in contact with him actually and see how he's going. But yeah, we chatted away, had a really good time. In fact, I might actually try and contact her in the next little while and have a chat about this subject and talk a little bit about police in China, because her English is really good. Whether or not she'll agree to do it on camera, I don't know, but maybe I can get some more information and let you know. But yeah, so that's sort of my main experiences with police here. I don't have a lot. Normally they're very, very friendly. From what I see with the people here, there's no issue with police whatsoever. They are just a part of the community doing a job. And I think that's a big thing about police here, is they are part of the community. In much the same way that if you've got a really successful business, I've mentioned before the company over in Sing Sing, which every time I go to mention them, I forget their name. But big food production company, really big. He stays in Sing Sing because that's his hometown, and he sinks a lot of money back into the local community, because that's what is expected here. You are part of a community. You are, if you have the ability, expected to help that community. And it's much the same with police here. From what I see, they are part of the community. They are here to help. I've never seen anybody, in Australia, when you see police, you see people get a bit nervous and they go a bit quiet and stuff. I've never seen that happen here. Police are treated just like anyone else. Now, all of this is going off of my experiences. My word is only what I've seen. I'm not going to say this is the same everywhere in China. There are places where I'm sure the police are much, much more serious. So if you're talking around government buildings, so maybe in Beijing, where the government sits, police are probably a whole lot more serious there. Police here seem to be very, very laid back. But they're really only dealing with public order stuff. And I don't think I've ever seen police here giving a ticket or anything to anybody. If they see something wrong happening, so people have parked in the wrong place or doing something bad on the road or maybe somewhere they shouldn't be, they'll generally just pull out their phone, take a photo. From what I seem to see, it appears to me that the police don't get too involved with things. I have seen police talking to people, and if the people that they are talking to start to get a bit heated, they will often step back, take a photo, turn around and walk away. Yeah, they seem to be very avoiding of getting into public confrontations. Yeah, let the person go cool off, do their investigation, and send a fine if it's needed through the mail. The vibe you get with the police here. So we were talking largely about the vibe in that question. The vibe seems to be generally, they're very friendly and very helpful. If people need directions and stuff, there seems to be no hesitation in going up, finding a police officer, asking a police officer. There's not nearly as many police officers here, as you get the impression of. When I was coming here, I had the impression that there would be a policeman on every corner, all the time, watching everything. No, it's not. They're just not there. Maybe that's because there's, you've all heard the accusation, there's cameras everywhere watching everything. Maybe that's why there's not police on every corner. But I don't think so. There's plenty of places where there's not cameras, where there's not police. And the other one, like I got told, anywhere you go, when you're in China, when you go anywhere, always carry your passport, because the police, can stop you and ask to see your passport, see your visa, all that sort of stuff. So I've been here over 8 years now, and the amount of times I've been stopped by the police and asked to show my documentation is the same amount of times I got stopped by the Chinese police before I came to China, which is 0. It's never happened. For a long time when I first got here, if I was walking down the street, I'd see a police and I'd just be thinking to myself, wow, is this the time? Are they going to stop me, check my documentation, kick me out of the country because something's not in order? But it's never happened. I've never been stopped by the police for any reason. So no, it's the police culture here really is the same as anybody else's culture here. They are part of the community, and they are doing what they deem best to improve their community. There's lots of different types of police too. You've got the sort of military, sort of armed police who I've not really had any interactions with. You've got the everyday street police, which are the ones you see all the time. Traffic police, which you see quite regularly on the roads. There's border guards and stuff, which I don't have any interaction with because I don't really cross the border. What others do we have? There's various others who I don't... The real ones you worry about are the day-to-day police. They're the ones that you see every day. And they're just part of the community. Now, the other part of the comment, of the question, was the power hungry and all that sort of stuff. Personally, I've not seen that here in China at all. I've never seen a police officer having that type of attitude. I'm sure they exist. I mean, the thing is they're people, and it doesn't matter where you go, whether you're in the West, whether you're in China, whether you're in blooming Africa or whatever. Some people, people get into the police force for various reasons. Some people get in because they want to help their communities. They want to do that job. I thought about it when I was young, but I didn't end up doing it because I had other priorities. But there is also the you're always going to have some who get into that for the power trip. I don't think, if they have police officers like that in China, and like I say, I haven't met any, I haven't seen any. If they have those kind of police officers here, I don't think they would last very long, because the Chinese culture is of community. It is very different. There's not so much sort of individualism as there is in the West. It is very, community comes first in nearly every respect, to the detriment sometimes of individual stuff, which, depends on where you put your priorities as to whether community or individual should come first in what situation. But I don't think a police officer with that kind of power trip attitude would last very long in the police force here. The police culture here is really good. Every interaction I've had has been positive, has been good. Never had a bad experience with the police. So I hope that sort of answers your question. We will have a chat to the guys in the English Corner tomorrow and ask their opinions. Whether or not we do it on camera, I don't know. They might not want to talk about, they might have bad things to say and not want to talk about that on camera, but we'll see. But I will have a chat to them in private at least and get some more information and pass that along. We'll do another video, and I will try and have a chat with this lady in the internal investigations unit she is really high up in the police here in Guangdong. We'll look at doing that. We'll follow up a little bit more on this subject because it is an interesting subject. Also, just one other quick thing to note. This weekend, I believe, is the Gaokao exams, which is the college/university entrance exams for students. So, pretty much every high school, last year high school student who wants to go off to college or university will be sitting the Gaokao this weekend. Really, really intense. It's a lot of pressure on the kids. I remember my friend Joanna last year She did the Gaokao last year. I remember seeing her a couple of months, maybe 3 months before the Gaokao exam. And you could just see in her body language and stuff, she was really stressing out. But I'll wander around this way. But she, yeah, I went and saw her a couple of weeks after the, no, it was more than that, probably a month and a half after the Gaokao exam. And the difference in her, how, you know, just her whole demeanor was so much more relaxed. It was, yeah, really good to see her get that behind her so she could relax. So yeah, anyone who's watching this, any students who see this, it's probably by the time I get it online, it's probably going to be too late to say good luck with your exams and stuff. But I hope you all did really well and got the scores you wanted to get into the university or college that you wanted to get into. Some of you will be seeing in our school in a few months' time. So yeah, I hope those who are coming there enjoy their time. But yeah, good luck with your exams, those who are taking them. It is a really, really big deal. Really, really important here. We might do a follow-up video in the next couple of days about the Gaokao and talk a little bit more about it, because it is a huge, huge deal here in China. Well, we're back home. We're actually just waiting for a friend who's going to pick me up shortly, in half an hour. He has a guitar he wants repaired. I've got a ukulele that needs a little bit of repair work done on it. So we're actually off to see my friend Ben, who does guitar repairs here in Jiaoqing, and catch up. Yeah, so I'm going to go and get my stuff organised. But yeah, I hope that's answered your question about the police to a degree. I will follow up because it is a subject which I think deserves a bit deeper digging. Yeah, because there is so much negative stuff about police in China. I think we should dig into it a little bit more and talk a little bit more about them, and try and give some more information. As I said, this is all my opinions from my experiences. Don't take it as gospel. It's not going to be the same everywhere. If you go places, you know, if you went to Xinjiang, you know, everyone talks about Xinjiang being all this terrible stuff happening. There was a lot of terror stuff happening in Xinjiang, what, 10, 15 years ago, with the separatist movement. If you'd gone there then, the police then would have been very, very serious, and probably quite harsh in a lot of ways about not letting people go somewhere and stuff. But from everything I've seen, that's changed as well over there. So yeah, we'll try and dig further into the subject. But for now, if you've enjoyed this, hit that like button, share with friends, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. Questions or comments, hit us up down there in the comment section. If you've got anything you would like to learn about life here in China, as was the case with this video, something to help you understand what happens here, you know, whether it's China, Guangdong, or specifically here in Jiaoqing, again, hit us up down there in the comment section. If you come up with a good idea for a video, we'll go away and do some research and make a video for you. But for now, thanks for watching, everybody. I've got to get ready to run. Stay safe. We will see you all in the next one. Cheers.